In an interview with Charlie Rosen on today's FastBreak.com, Phil Jackson said today's players lack the skills to run the triangle offense effectively, saying, quote, "Today's players simply lack the skills to play the triangle. They know how to play one-on-one, catch and shoot, and they've mastered crossover dribbles, spins, playing off of screens, and step-back shots. They don't know how to execute things like inside reverse pivots and other basic footwork. They have no sense of timing or organization. They don't really know how to play 5-on-5 basketball. It's strictly generational." So now we all know Jeff Hornacek plans to run a version of the triangle this upcoming season. Oh, Stephen A., your reaction?
My reaction is that Phil Jackson absolutely disgusts me. This New York Knicks squad under his regime is 49-115. I'm going to repeat that. 49-115. He disgusts me because he's not wrong, but he's disingenuous. If you just look at the quote on its face, he's talking about the players. He's not taking into account everything that comes with it. The age at which they enter play in the NBA. NBA coaches who are not necessarily teaching as much as they used to because they don't have the same level of security, so they're looking for the closest thing to finished products that they can find. College coaches, AAU coaches, everybody looking to get themselves in position where they can cash in. No player knew. I remember when Phil Jackson took over Chicago, he had to nurture and help Michael Jordan along in terms of at least psychologically adopting a mindset, conducive to what Phil, with Tex Winters, the architect of the triangle, wanted to install and implement, okay? These are the kind of things that happen. It's why coaches exist. It's why assistant coaches exist. It's why a general manager exists who hires the coaches, and you're working in concert with one another to teach the players. So it's not about them not knowing. It's about what you are teaching and what you are enforcing and what you are implementing. Phil Jackson, did it ever occur to Phil Jackson that maybe, just maybe, had you decided to coach bad hips and all, instead of having a person in Derek Fisher who never coached a day in his life come and coach the New York Knicks for the first season and a half, did it ever occur to you that they might have a better knowledge of the triangle at that particular moment in time? And then, by the way, Phil Jackson, Mr. 11 rings, no doubt. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen for 6 of them. Kobe and Shaq for the other, for 3 of them. For 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then Kobe with Pau Gasol and the crew for the other 2. So, again, we're talking about you having some of the greatest players in NBA history. But even them, you had to teach them what you wanted. And so I just think that, again, he's not factually wrong in terms of the players, but it's not like they can't play or it's their fault or they're ignorant or they lack intellect. It's that you play for coaches who implement systems that don't teach these kind of things. And I think it's incredibly disingenuous and disrespectful for the players to just throw a quote out there like that without, without elaborating on exactly what's transpiring.
Stephen A. and Knicks fans, kids, let Uncle Max do this for you. And Stephen A., I'm going to turn that frown upside down.
Okay.
This is my gift to you going into the weekend. Molly, this is my gift. We're going to have a happy Stephen A. Smith after our first week of shows together. This is my gift to you, Stephen A. It's not that you're wrong about what you said, but that's not what's going on here. This is the good news, Knicks fans. Good news, Knicks fans. What Phil Jackson here is doing is admitting the triangle ain't going to work. Now, Popovich uses elements of the triangle, and when Phil was coaching Kobe and Pau, they went to a lot of pick and roll, right? There's no, like, one system that people just use religiously without consideration for their personnel and the way the game is played. The spread pick and roll and the increase in three-point shots and efficiency of three-point shots and analytics, et cetera, with the rules that exploits the rules changes in the NBA, zone, hand checking, all this stuff has made the triangle antiquated if that's your primary basis of your offense. Now, if you're Phil Jackson, can you admit that? No, your ego is going to be far too wrapped up in it. It's too much of a sunk cost. So what you have to do to protect your own ego here, I don't think he's doing it intentionally, is saying, well, my system would work if they really stuck to it. The problem is, from a very young age, they haven't incorporated the right kind of skills in order to run it. This is his out, Stephen A., and we have to give it to him. You can't hold his feet to the fire. Oh, wait a minute, you're wrong. You said the triangle was work, and you're just wrong. We have to give him this out, because if you're a Knicks fan, the message you should be getting from this is, don't worry, it ain't going to be all about the triangle. Phil is capitulating. He's admitting it has to be something else. Let him do it. Who cares if it looks like some player on the team is kind of collateral damage in terms of reputation a little bit, or some generation of players? That's what the crusty old-timers always say. Let him move away from the triangle, exploit the resources on the team, and he has some now as well as possible, and let happy days come back to the Knicks.
You are on the record saying that his ego plays a role in it because he's not willing to admit certain things.
Yes.
That shows that that's a huge problem, because his ego is the one that got him in trouble with it to begin with. Because if you think for 1 second that Phil Jackson just learned over the last few months that people can't play the triangle.
Yes, he did.
Like it. No, he did not learn it just over the last few months. He's been known this, okay? The fact of the matter...
Wait a minute. When Stephen A. says he's been known this, that means source?
Wait a minute. Without question.
Let me read between the lines.
Without question. Not only that.
I'll back off from here.
Let's also remember something this.
Why
Phil
is he
Jackson,
with it
the
if he knew it for so long?
Phil Jackson, the executive, could have had Dwayne Wade had he not signed Courtney Lee. Keep that in mind. You didn't have to give Courtney Lee $50 million. Dwayne Wade went there for 47 in Chicago.
We need quick context here, though. These comments were made in December, just published today, to clear that up.
Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right.
There we go. There you go. So let me get this straight.
All right, so he's known it for about 8 months. That's still good news.
So he's known it for about 8 months. You know what makes it worse? That same Phil Jackson is the guy that tried to sell New York on Kurt Rambis and implore Kurt Rambis to teach the triangle in the aftermath of what he now has reported.
Kurt Rambis is interim. He brings in Hornacek, and Hornacek is a guy who looks, I have 3 point guards. Fine, well, Eric Bledsoe.
Phil Jackson tried to keep Rambis.
Whatever, but now he's got Hornacek who's willing to use whatever's on the team. That's what he did. That's good news. You got a flexible, interesting coach. And you got a president who admits that he can't win with the triangle, essentially.
The Knicks are going to be better because Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah and Courtney Lee are going to make them better. But the reality is that they're still not going to compete for the championship.
What's it going to take to make you smile about the Knicks?
First week in the books. Thanks for joining us. Know you left a good situation. It's been fun.
Okay, all right, that's it. You done.
I didn't know flogging was a training method. Built like a brick house. There's no way that hurts you.
Ass pack, yeah. It works. Preps you for the pain.
You should look into taking up paddleboarding or something.
What's Seifert say?
Well, he claims his hands are tied. Things seem really up over there.
Tell me about it. I can't even get a call about OTAs. My deal's already set.
Lack of gratitude speaks volumes about a man. Yeah.
So listen to this story. Our next guest was named after John David Crow, the great St. Louis running back. His father, I did my homework, Denzel Washington, had a premonition because his son went on to become Morehouse College's all-time leading rusher in 2006. He was signed to the St. Louis Rams as a free agent. And now, it's such a cool story. He plays a football player on the hit show HBO Ballers. John David Washington in the house. Thank you so much.
See you, man.
Thank you for being here. You do a fantastic job on that show in that role. It seems like we just saw a clip, obviously. Great cast. You guys have a lot of fun. What is the best part of being on Ballers?
Besides the camaraderie of the cast and crew and the city, they've ingratiated us in filming, and it's really one of the main characters, I believe, the city of Miami itself, and they're very supportive, and it's been a lot of fun filming all over the place in Miami.
Good city.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of fun.
It's good times.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Good times. Yeah. Good, clean family fun.
Miami.
Restaurants, museums.
It comes across on the screen. Like, you're right. It's a character. You want to be watching the show, even if it's just for weather porn. Like whatever it is. You want to be watching the show. So you're working out with the ride. You're in his kind of. Area in his vicinity, and this dude is jacked up and in shape, and you're going to be doing stuff, from time to time that shows off your physique. Does that put extra pressure on you to make sure that you are jacked up like The Rock?
Nah, not at all. Actually, it's way more fun training to look like I can play ball instead of when I was actually playing ball, being training for television. So, no, it's no extra pressure. I get to I don't have to lift as heavy. I can do higher reps, you know, lower weight, and it's a lot of fun getting ready physically for this character.
Talk to me about the show itself. I mean, you know, I've watched it. Obviously, you're doing a fantastic job. I'm a fan of Dwayne Johnson because I was a wrestler fan. I used to watch him as The Rock a lot and all of that stuff.
You know,
and
he's
I love
Brick
him.
on General Hospital.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So he's got some acting skills. He can relate.
Oh, look
No,
at you.
listen, no,
You got your SAG card?
Yes, I do.
All
Actually.
right,
yes,
brother.
I do. Yes, I do, actually.
Rachel.
Us actors got to stick
Oh,
together. But check it out. Looking at Ballers, I want you to talk to me about the show itself and because I think every show, particularly a show like that in this day and age, is trying to send a message through the various stories that it tells. Ultimately, what is the theme of this show, and what do you think makes the show so successful thus far?
I think, especially my approach to this Ricky character, is a chance to show human beings, you know, go through real things. I mean, they do super ordinary things on Sunday, Monday nights, you know, playing ball, but they're regular people, you know, and they feel, and they hurt, and they have to make certain decisions that affect their family and loved ones on a daily basis. So just to kind of get a snapshot of that and see the, you know, the different and various, you know, situations that these players are put in when they come into big money. I mean, their life changes automatically, like instantaneously, right at the draft and after the draft. Life changes. And so those kinds of responsibilities that are getting put on these young men that don't really have, they're really getting a crash course in learning on the fly with millions. It's a lot of pressure.
Who's telling these stories more? You, The Rock, others? Because obviously y'all have the kind of background where y'all can speak to those kind of things. What about others on the staff?
Wait, so you mean?
And I'm just talking about, I know the producers obviously have a role, they have a very big role in formulating the storylines.
Right.
But how much input do y'all have with
Well, I believe that's the teamwork part of this production. I mean, the producers to the writers, and they give it to the actors, and the actors bring certain qualities and realness and authenticity to every character, and that's why chemistry is such a big deal. I mean, you guys have it here, you know, and once you start flowing together with the words that are coming off of the page, you make it your own, you know, and the team concept. So I believe Dwayne it's really close to his art because he's transitioned beautifully from a athlete, you know, to actor, to another occupation. And so it's this role for him in particular is very close. Gotcha. You know, it's close to home. And a lot of times that's harder to play too.
I'm sure you get this all the time because Denzel Washington's son, you can act. I mean, you are a talented actor.
Yes, you are.
I thought that before I knew you were. I think Michelle Beal or Marcellus Wiley said, "Oh yeah, that's Denzel Washington's son." Oh yeah, okay, I get it. But you can act. All-time leading rusher at Morehouse. You even get to play out the fantasy of playing in the NFL through Ballers. I'm sure it has. But has anything bad ever happened to you?
Well, I mean, listen.
Girls all like you. I hear that all the time.
I mean, I sabotage many relationships through the paranoia of trust issues or whatnot. But no, I'm very blessed. I'm a lucky individual to have two functional, active parents in my life and big-time supporters of me.
Ever get a paper cut?
I mean, listen, I've
toe?
broken clavicle,
Don't jinx this kid.
concussions, you know. Yeah,
A
football.
girl ever break up with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I feel a little bit better. No.
Can we move on?
And it's a lie.
I got you. Acting, football, which one was your passion?
Well, I guess both, really. Acting, I wanted to do my entire life. I saw my father do Othello, Shakespeare in the Park, when I was 5, and I fell in love with the language. And I was reluctant. My reluctance stemmed from my relationship, you know, and nepotism in the business. And so I used my rebellious quest, surge, crusade, I used football for that because it gave me my sense of identity, my identity card. And I earned my own scholarship. You know, I paid for my way through school. And I got the respect from teammates, from coaches, on my own merit, through hard work and results on the football field. And those kinds of lessons I learned, especially in the business, the business of the NFL. Curtis Martin told me the hardest part about the NFL isn't playing, it's everything else. And I didn't understand that at first. He told me when I was still in school. And I realized later when I got there, all the distractions and what you have to deal with. Again, that's what our show really hits home with, especially with my character. All the distractions surrounding, it's almost like your sanctuary. When you get to the field or get to the facility, it's like, now I can just do what I've been doing since I was 5 years old.
What do you say when you look at today's NFL players? Some of the issues, fair or not, that just an abundance of them find themselves getting into. I mean, whether it's you, whether it's Dwayne Johnson or anybody else, What do you say to guys that are blessed enough to be in the NFL today about what they need to do to avoid some of those pitfalls, whether it's through the show or just talking here right now? What do you say to them?
Well, I think the word that comes to mind is humility. I think if you can humble yourself and realize all the work that you've done to get to this point, so why would you blow it on a couple of decisions, that can blow everything you've worked for? So to appreciate where you are, I think it takes humility, in my opinion. And that's what the character's dealing with this season. Discernment is another word. Really, how do I set myself up after ball? And listen, I bought a flat screen TV with my first NFL paycheck, and I felt like I was stupid. And I'm pretty good with my money. But that's what happens. And when you wanted to be there, I wanted that job since I was 5 years old. I don't know if y'all have dreamt about being on this stage since y'all were 5, but it does something to your psyche. It does something to you emotionally when you get that call. So, emotions run high, and sometimes, and you're young as well. So I'd say be responsible. And to be responsible, you got to be humble and understand where you are, in life, and how many kids look up to you. Because you were that kid once looking up to the Randall Cunninghams of the world and the Emmitt Smiths of the world.
Had to get Cunningham in there.
Had to, baby. Y'all were killing them earlier, man. Y'all were killing my Eagles,
I'm telling you,
man.
we were killing the Chip Kelly Eagles, not the Eagles prior to that. You talk about Randall Cunningham. Was that under Buddy Ryan?
It's just the laundry. It's just the same laundry. It's not the same players.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Same laundry.
Yeah, but it's the culture, man. I'm a diehard. And my father's a Dallas fan, Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, God.
You're all over the NFC East. Both guys wrong. Giants.
How was that? But you were rebellious.
Yeah, you see?
Cowboys,
By
Eagles,
nature.
oh, come
But
on.
when I saw Randall take off, man, with them strides, I was like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
I got to do it. And I stopped growing, so I couldn't.
Well, I got love for your dad, but damn, I didn't know he was a Dallas Cowboy.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. I have to change my thinking about him right now. Dallas Cowboys.
Listen, nobody's perfect.
Oh, wow.
John David, thank you so much for being here with
Congrats,
us. And
bro.
discernment and humility, that's powerful. And we'll also be seeing you on the big screen coming up pretty soon, too. We can't wait for that.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
y'all
the
so
time. We appreciate you.